Well, hi. It's a cold December night, and I've decided to make myself a little popcorn. And I'm going to go sit down by the fire. And I want to talk to you about why you should start a family legacy project on YouTube in 2025. Come on. Just before we get started, I just want to show you what I like to put on my popcorn. Hot, melted butter, of course, and nutritional yeast. It is rich in vitamin B12. And then I also like to put a little bit of herbamare on there. So, since starting this family cookbook project in September, it's really got me thinking about all the ways that people use YouTube. And one of those ways is to learn something, to learn to do something yourself. And another thing is just to watch other people living lifestyles that are different than yours, so you can kind of live vicariously through them. Of course, there's always entertainment and community, or finding people that have similar interests to you or have similar personality that you like. I think it's a great place to make friends, actually. You know, if you're an introvert like me, if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, and maybe you've had it in your mind for a long time, like I did, I think having a YouTube channel that is focused on family, sharing things about family, is a great way to keep in touch with people, and to also leave a kind of a living memory, a documented memory that's like more than a photograph of, you know, an activity that you're doing, or a time in your life where you're sharing a memory, or you're sharing an experience that, you know, is more than just sharing a photograph with someone. You know, if somebody's looking through an old photo album and they see a picture of you with other people, and it doesn't tell the story itself, but it requires someone to tell the story. And if you're not around to tell the story, well, then nobody's going to hear it. So I think it's a great way to document your life on YouTube. And some people have like lifestyle vlogs. I know some people have started their YouTube channel years ago just because they liked making video and uploading it for their friends and family. And then they've just expanded and made a bigger channel out of that, or out of their passion for doing that. So I think that's pretty cool. Another reason why you should start a family legacy project on YouTube is that there's a lot of things that we don't always share about ourselves with others, like with friends or family, especially with family members, like especially between the generations, because, you know, unless we're having those kind of sit down family conversations and all that, where you're talking about, you know, memories you have or experiences you had, especially the younger generation, they're not always paying attention or listening or caring about what you have to say at the time. But if you have it recorded, then later those kids can come back and listen to your story and appreciate it more. Sometimes we can have a skill or a really special or specific interest that maybe our family members or friends or people we know don't really appreciate. And so if you make a video of sharing something that you are doing or you're passionate about, you can find other people that are interested in it. And it might just be a small isolated group of people that have that same interest, but it can help you, you know, just that little community that starts to build around what you're sharing can really inspire you to share that more with the people you love. And the other thing is that when you do share that part of yourself, even if it's not directly to the people who know you and love you and live with you, they can go back one day and look at those videos, and they can get to know you in a whole different way than how they know you in your everyday life. And that's why I think it's so amazing. Like when I think about all the content that's on YouTube and on the internet right now. It's like so much. Like you could even say it's gluttonous, you know, like it's just too much. But on the other hand, there is something for everyone. And I think that the world and all the things in it just gets smaller and smaller because it's all there. It's all readily available. And so you can find, if you have a really specific and special interest, or you are really, you know, unique person with a unique character, which we all are, but you know, it's more and more easy to find interesting people just like you on YouTube. So it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what your everyday life looks like. If you want to show what you do in your everyday life, that's great. But I think it's fun to show or express or to share the little parts that you don't share with everybody, because when you share it with, I don't know, it's kind of interesting, but when you share it on YouTube, the people that are looking for something like what you have to share are going to most likely find you. So it's kind of like a needle in a haystack, which I consider YouTube to be. Another reason why you should start a family legacy project on YouTube. When I say family legacy, I'm really talking about you showing up authentically to share a part of yourself with people that you love, or at least to make it accessible to the people that you love. You could make a YouTube channel about anything. It could be you just sitting on a chair talking about certain experiences that you've had. You could start a channel just to share your faith and your heart with your grandchildren, you know, and different testimonies you have of things related to your faith. You could also share your, you know, and the thing is, you don't have to make it public for everybody, but you could just put it up there and make it private or unlist it, and then give it access to the people that you love or care about, that you specifically want them to have access to it. But you could even, you know, if you have a special interest, or you just have a special skill or something, or a thought you want to share, you can make a video about that. Like, recently I was talking with my dad, and for decades he has had a special interest and practice of building homemade speakers, like stereo speakers, and buying all the little components and then building all the pieces to put it together. And he's done this for years, and he's built some for friends, and he's built himself a little audio room, a media room, where he builds his little speakers and listens to music to test them out, and then he modifies them. Like, this is such an interesting but private and quiet kind of interest. But you know what? There might be like 5 or 500 or 5,000 other people out there that would be really interested in seeing someone do that. Just watching them do it. For him to just film himself doing what he just does, like, I can just imagine my sons one day watching that and being like, wow, Papa can do that, or I never knew that. That's pretty cool. And, you know, so it just gives a window into who you are that, like, you don't typically share in your everyday life, or you don't, you know, even though maybe somebody doesn't share those exact interests, they can sure learn a lot about you and your personality and your character just by observing, you doing something you love. Another reason why you could create a family legacy project is to document the progress of a specific project that you're doing as a family or as a business you have. Like, for example, my aunt and uncle have a business, and over the years, they have, built that up, and they have documented it over time. And so then each year, they'll share photos and videos from their project, and it's pretty amazing. Like, then you can go back, over the years and say, well, 10 years ago, this is where the project was, and now look how far we've come, or look what we've built now. So, and look how the family's grown and all of that. So it can be really amazing. And just because you're creating videos or sharing video content that is specific to your family, some people don't have family like that, so they can have a window into your family, and maybe it can inspire them to establish a family tradition or something in their own families, or even to share in the community that your YouTube channel is generating because of the things you're sharing. And I think that we all have shared experiences in family and in life, and among the generations it's different. So especially for people that are my age and older, like in late 40s and older, we've lived a bit, and we have stories to tell and things to share, and even perspectives to share, and I think it's important, because if we don't share those things, if we just sit behind the screen and just consume YouTube instead of adding to it or contributing to it, then we're not really doing anything, are we? We're not really adding to the recipe, are we? So I think it's good to see more older people on YouTube, and not just for like reasons of sensationalism or creating excitement or hype or selling products or anything like that, but just showing up, being real, giving a taste of life. I've also heard of people creating YouTube channels so that they can stay in contact with loved ones who live far away, or those who are isolated or in hospital for a long time. They can't visit them, or they're in a home or something. I just make videos for them to watch so they can keep in touch with them, so they can have a sense of continual relationship with the people in their lives. Like, for example, a grandmother whose grandchildren move to the other side of the world, she reads stories to the grandkids so that they get to know her voice, and they get to spend time with her, even though she's not physically in the room with them. And it is true, like, once you get kind of hooked on a certain YouTube channel, watching somebody, you start to feel like you know them, and you just want to keep coming back and see what else they have to say, or what new thing they're doing. So the reason why I decided to start this YouTube channel is for a number of reasons. And one of them was to motivate myself to compile a family cookbook for the Johnson side of the family. And I also feel like this project is going to lead me into doing some genealogy research, which is also interesting to me. So we'll see. And I also started this project with my son so that we could spend some time together and do something creative together. And in the meantime, I'm learning about family recipes, and I'm sharing them with other family and then anybody else who cares to watch. It's just like a fun way to interact with family that, you know, that I haven't, some of the little kids I haven't even met, and some of them are far away, so I don't see them very often. So it's kind of like a little window into my world and into my interests, and to just stay connected. And, you know, I really want to write the cookbook and make a physical book, because I've always wanted to write a book and have like the tangible thing in my hand, you know. So this is part of my motivation to accomplish that. The other thing is, even if I never do accomplish that, because, you know, God forbid, I could have a car accident tomorrow, or, you know, I could choke on a popcorn or whatever. We're not promised tomorrow, but each day and each week, each month, I'm posting a video and I'm sharing a recipe, and somebody else can enjoy that. And so even if I never get to that written book, it's okay, because I at least did something. So the other thing is that by sharing part of my process in writing the cookbook and gathering recipes and making the recipes, in sharing all that, I'm also leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for someone else to follow behind and maybe finish what I couldn't finish. So, I don't know. Can you think of a reason why you might want to start a YouTube channel in 2025? I'm sure you have 1,000 ideas. I just thought I would bring you downstairs with me, share some popcorn and a nice fire. It's time to throw another log on there. So, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.